Now to Ireland, where President Biden is wrapping up his trip today with a visit to the area where his family is from. NBC News White House correspondent Mike Memoli joins us now from County Mayo. Good morning, Mike. President Biden had a very busy schedule yesterday. What can you tell us about it?
Well, all along as we've been following President Biden throughout this trip in Ireland, we talked about how you can divide up his itinerary into two broad categories. There's the personal visits to his ancestral home counties, County Louth on Wednesday, today here in County Mayo. And then there's the official business that you typically see whenever a president travels abroad. And yesterday that was certainly the case. He visited with Ireland's president, sat down with Ireland's prime minister, where they talked about important issues like the economy and keeping those Good Friday peace accord for Northern Ireland on track. He also spoke to Ireland's parliament, where there was a bit of an emotional note at times, and he talked about the significance of coming back to where his great-great-grandparents came from. Take a listen.
If you forgive the poor attempted Irish, Táimé seo bhaile. I'm at home.
At one point, the president talked about how he's nearer to the end of his career than the beginning. He noted his age and said this was one of the great honors of his life. Another emotional moment, he talked about his late son, Beau, who passed away 8 years ago from brain cancer. And he said it should have been him speaking to the parliament today and not him.
And we know you're in County Mayo, where the president is planning to spend part of the day. What's on his agenda there?
Yeah, this is also going to be quite an emotional day for the president. One of his first stops, in fact, when he lands in County Mayo, is going to be to visit a hospice center that was dedicated in honor of his late son, Beau. He's also going to be going to a heritage site where they're tracing the genealogy, learning even more about the Blewett side of the Biden family tree. And then, as you may be able to hear, they're planning a bit of a party here for President Biden in Ballina, where his great-great-grandfather, Ed Blewett, came from. There is going to be a speech that the president delivers later tonight after some musical performances. The president is going to focus his remarks on the resilience of the Irish people, the importance of the Irish American community back home, and how the values of the Irish Americans, dignity, treating everyone as their equals, have really informed his political career. The mayor of Ballina has been doing some interviews, and he said he wouldn't be surprised, perhaps, if President Biden announces he's running for a second term here. I think that's unlikely, but we're certainly going to be listening closely to what the president has to say later today.
And we can definitely hear the music in the background from the festivities there. But, Mike, what are some of the president's priorities once he returns back to Washington?
Well, one of the items at the top of the list we heard the president address yesterday, he talked about that massive leak of classified information. They told us yesterday morning that they were close to finding the suspect. We now know that he was briefed on the arrest of that suspect late last night. The president's also going to be coming back where the abortion rights battle is only heating up. The fact that the abortion pill, mifepristone, may be coming off the shelves in a matter of weeks. His administration is trying to plan their response if that comes. And then looking ahead to the next few months, it's all going to be about that battle with congressional Republicans over spending and the debt ceiling. That could really consume much of the summer for President Biden as we face the risk of a potential debt default.
Okay, Mike Memoli in Ireland. Mike, thanks so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.